Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and hello, welcome, and thank you for joining Asian News Facebook Live and YouTube Live program today. Those who are watching us first time, joining first time to listen and go live, Asian News is a well-known broadcasting media serving the community with quality programs throughout the week, and presenting live programs as well, and from different countries and also throughout the USA. You can enjoy morning meditation, religious discourses, and social, economical, political, and entertainment news, and live talk shows like a global workshop as well on this. And you can join us and enjoy all those programs during the pandemic. They've also presented over 70 plus live musical episodes and many live concerts as well in a very short period of launching. It has over like 250,000 viewers already that's joined our channel, and it's really a privilege and a pleasure connecting with you. So we are almost finishing the month of July, almost there, and still coping with the pandemic. Hope you all are keeping well and staying safe as well. Moving along with this, COVID may have given us a feeling of a world has come to a halt and all our lives are put on hold. Well, folks, don't worry. Thanks to technology, and we all are connected, and things are catching up very fast. And with that, I'm talking about even the upcoming election as well. So today, our show is all about that, and Asian News is presenting all informative show about, who you want to vote for and why and all that. So as we all know, November 3rd is approaching faster, and then we think, it's time to make a decision. Today, I'm very excited to present three distinguished guests who are going to be joining our panel with the congressional candidate. Also will be joining us to give us a lot more inside info as well as informative session on this. So let me introduce one by one. Let me go with our first guest on the panel, and he's a retired colonel, served on the Indian Army for 24 years, and he holds a master's and PhD from IIT Roorkee, and currently teaching in Texas in a different school district. So it's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Sunil Agarwal to the show. Thanks so much. All right. So welcome, Sunilji, and let's go and invite our second guest. Our second guest panelist is a first-generation immigrant, and he's residing in the USA for the past 25 years. And he's a social and a political activist, involved passionately with the Indian American community. And I'd like to welcome Mr. Bhupinder Munshi. Thank you so much for joining.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. And our third enthusiastic panelist who is also joining is a retired flight lieutenant, Indian Air Force, currently working as a director for a multinational telecom company. And he's also very actively, passionately involved in social services, religious organizations, and community activities as well. So let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Jayant Chaudhary. Thank you so much for joining. All right. So now that we have all three panel guests here, and it's time for us to have our guest of the evening, who is going to be answering all of your questions. And without further ado, I would like to now invite today's discussion, who is also running for an election, the House to represent California 17th Congressional District after successfully advanced from the primary in March. So that's none other than Mr. Ritesh Tandon. And thank you so much for joining, and welcome to the show, Mr. Tandon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Very good, very good. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely.
And hello to
Pleasure.
all our panelists, Bhupinder ji, Jayant ji, Sunil ji, namaskar. Thank
So,
you.
without further ado, we all join in, and it's a pleasure having you all on the panel. And welcome, and thank you so much for whoever joined us throughout all over the global as well as in USA. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to give you the informative session. So, before we even start our panel, I would like to start with Mr. Tandon. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we are curious that why are you running for the specifically this congressional position? So that's go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anuji. First of all, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone based on your location. Thank you so much for joining our call, and thank you, Asia News, for organizing this thing. So, myself, Ritesh Tandon, I'm running for congressional position from District 17. This includes Fremont, Newark, San Jose, Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, Milpitas, Alviso, and Cupertino. So my grandfather, he was a freedom fighter in the fight for India's independence. He taught me the value of freedom and liberty. Over 2 decades ago, I immigrated to the United States in search of American dream, and I found it here, right here in the Bay Area. I went to the Santa Clara University for my master's program in computer engineering, and then also completed MBA. Last 22 years, I'm working for the global companies in the different role, from engineering to strategic alliances to sales. Now, I got an opportunity to meet and work with so many different cultures. Now, key part happened in my life. Before I started my schooling, I started working for Shankarai Foundation, which is a non-profit organization. So last 22 years, I work for Shankarai Foundation, which is a non-profit. We have built 10 eye hospitals, which are serving 150,000 free surgeries to underserved people.
Mhm.
At the same time, I joined as the president for UPMA, which is the Pradesh Mandal of America. And there also we are running 10 daycare centers serving underserved children. And also from UPMA, we are funding the education of underserved children as well as working for the schools, constructions, and all those things.
Excellent.
Now, along with all the work, Anuji,
Mhm.
best thing is right here in the Silicon Valley, I was also helping Latinos, those who don't speak the English language, and the property managers, they were taking the advantage of it. So I used to fight for them, for their rights. Yeah, because some of them, they were not able to celebrate their birthdays because of all the discrimination what they used to do. So last 22 years, I'm living in the Bay Area with my mother, wife, and two children. So it's all about myself.
Excellent, excellent to hear, and it's a really pleasure meeting you. And so the curious question is: so most of the Indian candidates, they prefer to join the Democratic Party. So why Republican Party? Why did you choose that? Like, I mean, if you don't mind.
Sure, sure. And Anuji, before that, your second part also, I will quickly answer that
Sure.
why I'm running for congressional
Yes.
position.
Yes.
So, first of all, I'll say that I'm so grateful for the opportunity this country has given me.
Hmm.
But what has happened is many of our elected representatives, they take our United States for granted,
Right.
and they work for their own personal interests
Hmm.
instead of interests of the community and the people.
Hmm.
So what happened in my district, actually, the reason why I stand up, because we lost our voice in the Washington.
Right.
Today, when we look into my opponent, Rokhanna, he endorsed a Prop 16, which is nothing but race-based discrimination.
Hmm.
And Prop 16, what it will do, that it will allow the admission in California, UC, and state colleges, public employment, and public contract based on race, but not based on merit.
Right.
And
Yes, Chandan,
this,
we'll go over the
yeah,
details
yeah,
in a while. But let's
yeah.
quickly catching up because I know that one of our panel guests has probably that question that
Sure,
curiously
sure. Let me
wants to
let
be
me go
asked.
then high level here.
Yes,
That
please.
why on the race, 600,000 Indian families still waiting for the green card. Politicians have done nothing.
Right.
These politicians are moving the jobs outside of Silicon Valley
Hmm.
and which is not fair for all the people.
Right.
Not only this part, 1.5 year my opponent was serving co-chair of the Bernie Sanders instead of working here in the Bay Area.
Hmm.
And the sad part is not a single bill is passed by my opponent who can
Hmm.
help our district directly.
Right.
And not only this, the worst thing happened is, no doubt, he was born to my opponent born to the Hindu mother. He says, reject Hindutva. he joined the Pakistan caucus, bashed India for the Article 370 of Kashmir, spoken against NRC and CAA. I know that my wife is Kashmiri and how much people of Kashmir have suffered. And this is actually, I see this democratic, they started going very, very left.
Right, right. So we have a lot to talk about actually. Then depending on what you said, because it's going to be a very interesting session that as we go forward. So I think if you are okay with that, so I mean, like we can start the panel discussion, and then let's give a chance to our panelists to ask their questions that they're eagerly waiting for. So so let's start with our colonels. Mr. Sunil, go ahead.
Thank you, Anuji. Ritesh ji, my question to you is about the Silicon Valley. As we all know, the Silicon Valley is home for innovative ideas and is a global center for venture capitalists. So, what is your plan of action to safeguard the startup companies and also the established companies which are taking place every now and then? And
Correct.
the Indians are coming to fulfill their dreams in software field.
Exactly. Thank you so much for asking. One thing I can tell you, because of all the regulations, all high taxes and everything, 660 Silicon Valley companies they have located outside. And today's news was Tesla. They decided to open another plant in Austin, not expanding in California. So let me tell you, very interesting question you have asked. So Silicon Valley is a collection of hardworking, innovative people from across the world. Yeah, they come here to live American dream and enjoy. Today, actually, Silicon Valley needs a progressive-oriented policies, not progressive. We need the help with housing. We need the help with traffic congestions. We need the help with quality education. And I have seen that all those things are missing in the Valley. I have a strong desire, in fact, to make the Silicon Valley as a next generation innovation of high tech, along with the biotech after the COVID. Now, when we look into the Valley, I like to push the tax incentive for the startup companies and employees. I want to bring more federal dollars to build the infrastructure and relieve with the traffic problems. Also, I like to lower the interest rates and plan for the smart city construction. Now, think of it: the people, those who are living there in the smart city, they have the work which is within a 1 mile, schools within a 1 mile. How much difference we can bring in the life of the people? I strongly support bringing the manufacturing back at the outskirts of the valley so that we retain our skill set, everything right here. I like to have more involvement of colleges with this Silicon Valley manufacturing and all the companies, because today when our children they are coming out from colleges, they are not trained to go right away into the work. Instead of that, in their third year and fourth year, these companies can say what their needs are and what they're looking for and which technology they are working for. In fact, we can help our children to learn that in the beginning. And in the valley, actually, I like to do more merit-based immigration, because today I see, due to the high government regulation, high taxes, high government intervention on everything, high cost of living, companies are moving out. And if we don't move the Silicon Valley to the next generation technologies, which includes like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, advanced manufacturing, robotics, and like advanced medicine, if we don't bring that, then we will be behind. We have to convert this valley along with the technology to the bio Silicon Valley. And this is where actually I like to continue to innovate by keeping low taxes, reasonable regulation, with introduced federal program for the startup. For manufacturing, we can give the tax holidays for 5 to 10 years, and the close collaboration with universities like Stanford and UC Berkeley and all those things. So in fact, I have a lot of plans. You can read on my website to take this valley to the next level. Yeah.
Okay, so that's wonderful answer, Mr. Chandan. So, Bhupinder ji and Jayant, do you have any comments or?
Yeah, I would like to add that it was very heartening to see
Mm-hmm.
that Ritesh ji is thinking ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
Biotechnology and that field is certainly will be picking up. He's talking about artificial intelligence, robotics, etc. Those are the things that I hear in my professional life also. The companies that are looking forward to that, the talent pool is looking forward to that. So if we can, and if you, Ritesh ji, are able to get the nomination and finally be the congressman that we are looking forward to, that is the kind of vision that we need to have in this country.
Thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
think the people who are coming with the American dream is also facing the biggest challenge in that area is the property values. Even like being on the H-1 visa and startup companies, and then it is like a killer there that they cannot afford the accommodation there. So that's probably biggest issue also that comes with this issue. And then if you can just do something about that,
Yes,
that'll be great.
and the smart cities actually what we are planning.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that will move the people to the certain area or outskirt where we build not
Mm-hmm.
only the housing but also the companies, schools, everything right there. So people need not to run around everywhere. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for the hope. And so let's give a chance to Bhupinderji. So let's take your next challenge.
Okay. Thank you, Anuji, for the opportunity, and thank you, Ritesh ji, for taking the bull by the horn and actually doing it. We all aspire to do these things, but you are actually doing it. Um, I know you had said earlier that your focus is fighting for equal rights for women and no discrimination of any kind at the workplace. Can you elaborate on that a little bit and say what do you mean by that and how do you plan to accomplish that?
Yeah, today when we look into our Silicon Valley, we are very multicultural. And the people they are coming in the valley from all over the places. And what I want to do is I like to offer equal opportunity to all the people, irrespective of color of their skin. And this is where actually my goal comes into picture, that equal rights for all the people, those who are working. There shall not be any discrimination. The people with the inherent capabilities and what they can do, we really want to make them, promote them, not with the color of the skin. Today, actually, what is happening, a sad part is Bhupenji, is our opponent, my opponent, Rokhana, he endorsed a Prop 16. And in fact, they are trying to bring the discrimination based on color of the skin, which is very dangerous for the not only our children but also for the future of America and everything. This is where actually I like to bring the equal opportunities for everyone and not looking into the color of the skin. Also, I want to mention that women, they are the pillar in the house. They work hard at the work. They work hard at the in the houses. They take care of the family. I like to make sure that women they get their own space and are not discriminated, because they get disturbed, then automatically the entire family get disturbed.
Right.
So having their and taking care of them and giving them their room is extremely important. And this is where actually I want to make sure that everyone is covered.
What you said, Mr. Tandon, is right that when women are discriminated, the whole family is hurt, and when family is hurt, the society values are going to bring down as well. So that's probably the one of the most important thing that we have to keep in mind, that they need to be kept valued. In
Exactly. Yes.
at this time. So, anyone have any comments on that, Sunilji? And okay, I think I you're laughing. Okay, go ahead.
So he is very heartening to hear again that
Uh-huh.
he's living the two basic tenets of our culture or the culture that Ritesh ji comes from.
Right.
One of them is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So
Mm-hmm.
whole world is one family.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking family as world is the family, there's no discrimination right away, right
Right.
from the start.
Right.
And then another one that we practice very strongly is
Uh-huh.
Ya Devi Saruputeshu.
Right.
Now, if you talk about either Lakshmi Rupen Sanstha or Buddhi Rupen Sanstha or Shakti Rupen Sanstha, Nari or lady is essential to to everything in the world.
Exactly.
And very, very good to hear that you are such a strong proponent of avoiding disseminating any kind of discrimination. So
Mhm.
thank you for that.
That reminds me, yeah, that yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devta. My wife will not agree to this. Thank you.
That's wonderful to hear, and I think that we are looking forward to that one. Like, and yeah, thank you so much for that. So, well, Jayanti, that I know that you are also waiting to ask one of your questions. So go ahead. Let's take that one next.
Absolutely. In fact, Ritesh ji very nicely gave me the segue to this question. And this is about really Prop 16. But
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make some comments as very clear.
Mm-hmm.
The former ACA 5 bill is currently Prop 16, and it
Right.
will be on the ballots in now November 2020 elections.
Right.
Now, we heard you oppose Prop 16 and very categorically asking us to vote no for that. Your
Yes.
opponent, Mr. Khanna, strongly opposed earlier, and for whatever reason, he changed his mind. Now, of course, you touched upon it, and I would not like to put you in hot water, but Mr. Khanna has his own reasons to change his mind, probably. But very clear thoughts from your side. And
Mm-hmm.
you kind of touched upon how it is going to make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
But behind the scene, what's going on?
So I can tell you, thank you so much. It's a very good question, and it's a very disheartening to see that that we are going back to the old centuries where we are measuring the people with the color of the skin instead of their inherent capabilities. So basically, what this Prop 16 do, it legalized the race-based discrimination and preferences for public college and universities admission, public employment and promotion. So now what will happen? Our children, now let me tell you a little bit background this bill. The most of the student who will be impacted because of the Prop 16 will be Asian American student. Because in entire California, we are only 15%, and our admission, which is right now, is close to 40%. We may reduce to as low as 15% because of this bill.
Wow.
Now, what will happen? The parents, they need to send their children either to the private schools or colleges, or the parents need to send the children outside California. In both the cases, they will end up spending 100,000 or 200,000 more. And the worst part is they will be far away from their children. Today, as a parent, I know I pay my taxes right here in California. I have my complete rights to get the admission in California, UC, and state colleges. But because of this Prop 16, my child may not be able to go into UC or California state colleges. So this is very disheartening. And not only this part, we are punishing the hard-working children because
Right.
today, when children they see that they on the basis of color of the skin, and if you remember, sir, that back in India we have the quota system.
Right.
So children they know that they are
Right.
anyhow going to get into the school based on the color of their skin. Why there is need to work hard? And not only that part, the colleges where the people they are entering, the entire system of education quality will go down. Other guys, those who are at certain level, but the guy who managed to, average student who managed to get in because of the color of the skin, he will also suffer for 4 years because he is not to the speed. And every day he will not be motivated to go to school. This is an example actually, many of the community member, they have given me what it happens with them. And the worst part in the long run, we lose our competitiveness in the world, innovation, creativity, everything will go down. So in fact, there is a lot of negative stuff, not only like this side, but both the sides. Best thing to do is improve K to 12 education system. Because if we fix the K to 12 education system, work and give opportunity to every child. Because when we divide it into race, there are poor children in Asian community, Vietnamese, everywhere in all communities. Why we need to divide it based on the race? Let's help every child who's poor or every child who is not able to go to the next level, irrespective of any race, religion, wealth, or anything. and help them if they want to grow and want to work hard. And this is where I tell, like, let them live the American dream instead of just coming up with the patch of race-based admission. What this Democrats and my opponent Rokhana is doing and pushing very hard to get it done is not fair. Yeah.
So what are our chances of just winning that one for like because I don't know what are the statistics are so at this point.
So I can tell you it has passed the assembly, it has passed the California Senate. Now it is in the November ballot. And in the November ballot, the way the language is put on this Prop 16,
Mm-hmm.
half the people will not understand what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because they talk about color of the this is helping the people of diversity. Now when we say who are people of diversity, I
Mm-hmm.
asked this question to legislators. They did not came back to me with answer. In fact, they are putting it very nicely, and if the people are not aware of this bill, there is a good chance to pass. And once it is passed, for 20, 25 years, we will continue to suffer, and our hardworking children will continue to suffer. So this is where, for all American children, we need to fight this to make sure that we give merit based only, not based on race and religion.
Excellent. Excellent. So,
Thank you,
mm,
Ritesh. That was very clear. Why you oppose Prop 16? Why you want to say no to it?
right.
Because it is all about future. It's about protecting the great country that we live in, the future of this country, not just the kids around us. Because once you level the playing field for all the kids, the competition gives us the best of the best, and that's what takes the country forward. So thank you for that clarity.
So, so okay, so let's that is those are all the very excellent questions, and thank you so much for giving us the detailed insight for that one. And so let's moving on, and I think let's take another question from Mr. Agarwal. So go ahead. I think you probably have another very innovative question as well for him to answer.
Thank you, Anuji. Yeah, Ritesh, my second question is about healthcare and especially about Medicare. Somewhere I heard you said that compensation and sane regulation will bring down the cost for all. Quality care is already there in the US, which is good, and healthy competition and technology to help, we can achieve even better. So, this is very bold and good statement. Can you tell us something more about this?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for asking this question. Yeah. First of all, I just want to give you 1 minute recap for Medicare for all because somebody asked question to Krishnaji, so I want to answer that for somebody. So, cost I oppose Medicare for all because the reason is it costs $3 trillion, and my opponent he support Medicare for all, but here the problem is from where he's going to bring $3 trillion for Medicare for all, because drug companies they make the profit of $70 billion per year. Insurance companies they make the profit around 25 to 30 billion per year. So if we summarize all those things, we are talking about $100 billion at the most. But let's say if we include the insurance premiums and everything, that is around 600 to 700 billion dollars. We are still short by 2 trillion. Now let's tax the rich 100% of whatever they earn, $1 trillion. So still will be short by $1 trillion. And my opponent and Bernie Sanders and all those things, they were not able to answer me exactly from where the money will be coming for the Medicare for all. And coming to the question, sir, I believe that the competition and same regulation will bring the cost down. I like to create more competition, which will not only increase the quality care in the medical, but also will motivate many doctors and many companies and many people to come forward to do more and more research work. For example, when we look into the medical side, let's see like medical technology. This is a significant factor for the cost. When I say medical technology, that means it includes devices, equipments, advanced drugs, etc. With the competition and increased source of supply, we can bring down the cost of the medical technology. Medicare and insurance companies, actually, if they publish their actual prices openly in the market, then the people, they have a choice whether they want to go with one company for the particular surgery or go with the other. Not only this part, I like to encourage more insurance product so that people will have a lot of choices in the market. So people can, and the insurance companies will compete and bring the lower cost. Not only that part, if you remember back in India, how we have the small medical clinic everywhere. I like to give more tax incentive and open the small clinics so that when any emergency or anything, anytime doctor, anyone need to visit doctor, they need not to go to hospital. The hospital costs a lot of money. The small clinic can take care of the small things. And again, they changed the law on the drug imports because today the same drug which is sold here in the United States is sold at a much cheaper price outside. So what I like to do is bring more competition, bring more quality of service, let people decide what they want to do, let people and service providers compete for your service, let them provide you best service, and that's how we can enhance the quality instead of bringing the government-based system where the people will be working for 6 to 8 hours and they leave, and then people will not be motivated, and not many companies will be coming forward with the innovation on the medical and the drug side because they know now everything is owned and controlled by the government and there is no reason to work on it. Yeah. So
Insurance companies are taking us for a ride, so healthy competition is very necessary.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, and more
Thank you.
choices in insurance. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we already have a like a health system that's going on with it. So anyone have any questions about with your experience or anything that needs to be addressed, and then you have a request for Ritesh ji to just to anyone, Bhupinder ji, or I'm sure that
Yes, I do. I do have a question, a follow-up question on that.
okay.
Uh, it's been said at various forums before that the health insurance should be decoupled from the employer, and people should have a choice to buy their insurance on their own. What are your thoughts about that?
Mhm.
I 100% agree to decouple because what happened today when people they lose the job, they are in the Cobra for 3 months, and then once Cobra expire, they end up buying a lot more expensive health insurance. So in fact, by providing the choice to the people and by providing the direct connection from the employee for the purchase of health insurance, I think that will be a big impact. And also, employee can shop around more and pick the insurance of their choice versus going with the 4 or 5 insurance companies what the employer offer. And many times, actually, I can tell you, with the individual group with multiple choices, with the shopping around, the the end person, the employer will be. We can keep aside. They should give the credit back to the employee for whatever the money they are spending, but let person make their own decision. Time is over to control everybody. Let them decide what they want to do.
Thank you. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. So, so go ahead and if anyone else, Bhupinder, do you have one more question? So go ahead.
Yes, please. I wanted to change the topic a little bit, and
Mhm.
uh, we are all immigrants. We all came here from a different country, and recently, immigration has been a very hot topic with the current administration.
Mhm.
And the current administration has talked about ending the family-based immigration, the family-based legal immigration, and I see there is some kind of concern in the at least in the Indian diaspora that I see. Um, how do you see this concern or this item? How do you see this affecting your campaign or the presidential campaign this fall? Is it an issue or it's a non-issue or what's going on? I'm talking about vis-a-vis the Indian diaspora.
Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing this up. I just like to start with one thing first, and I feel very sorry about it also. About close to 600,000 Indian people, they are waiting for the green card. and no politician, I can say, have done anything to take care of them. And most of these people, they came here under H1B, and they are waiting for more than 2 decades to get the green card. And I see this as a clear discrimination with the Indian diaspora, sir, because the reason is, if the person who is coming from UK or European country, they get the green card in a year. But whereas for the same person who is doing the same job, coming there for the same purpose, they have to wait for 20 years. Why? In fact, this discrimination is happening for a long time, and no one, and no politician, and we were Democrat. Even I suffered. It took me more than 12 to 13 years to get green card. We never thought of it. It's a policy change, and these Democrats or anyone, any politician, they have never ever done anything for the community and for our people. And this is where I want going to fight it, not only for Indian diaspora, but for the Latinos, DACA children, fight for them to make sure that they get their green card and their right. And my proposal is, at the end of the 6 month, 6 year of H1B, people should automatically get the green card. Why they need to get back into the line and country thing and all those things? Because they don't came here on family. They came here to work and to support US, to increase the GDP, and to help America to go to the next level. So coming the question to the part of Indian diaspora thing, I can tell you the President Trump, he did make the statement for the family green card for the parents, and but he did not do anything. In fact, yesterday I was talking with the immigration lawyer, because my one of the friend, actually, he was applying for his mother, and in fact they are filing it openly. There is no issues. In fact, the green card is openly filed today. Close to 1 million immigrants are still coming. Last year, they came to the United States. The only reason why President Trump has delayed the green card for only new people entering the country, not the one who is already here. For example, if I have the H1B and my green card is due, I will get the green card today. There is no stop there. But only new people who are coming from India, it is postponed till the month of December. And the whole reason for that is we have 30 million people who are unemployed here. There are many H1B people who are also unemployed. So we need to have the priority for the people to get back into the stand instead of bringing more people. Also for H1B, I want to add one comment that anyone who is in the United States on H1B, he can always renew H1B. There is no issues. Anyone who has a valid visa and traveling to India on H1B, they can come back to United States. There is no problem. Only thing is, for the even those who are studying here under F1, they can convert their status, which is called COS, change of status, from F1 to H1B without any issues. Those who are already in the United States. Now, those people who are coming brand new into the United States, let's say from the European country, India, and any part of the world, President Trump is asking them, instead of starting from month of October, because the H1B start from month of October, you start 2 months late from the month of December. The whole reason is 30 million people who are unemployed. President Trump wants to give them first opportunity so that they can stand on their own. Not only this part, the many our H1B people are unemployed. Many of H4 people who are looking for the job, they are ready to get into the job. So many H4 can be converted into H1. So those people who are already here, they President Trump just want to take care of them, and then go to the next level. I can only summarize this part because very closely I'm working with the legal attorney, and couple of them, they are very close supporter of my campaign. And even I can tell you, all these lawyers and everyone, they support what President Trump is doing. They are making things much easier, because I was told that even the RFE, which was earlier coming so fast, now there is hardly any RFE. There are more lenient rules now, so which is a very good part for the community. And I'm happy that Trump is understanding, President Trump, and I will continue to work more and more for the people and the community and make sure that nobody suffers.
So excellent, and I think that really explained, how everything is going on around. And as a matter of fact, we heard what happened in Houston today, and I hope things will get better after that one. After the healthcare, any questions on that one, immigration related? Anyone have any questions? We will take as I mean, like, I know I'm getting a lot of questions here, and I think we will finish our discussion, and then after that we're going to start taking all the questions that you may have. I know you're all excited to ask these questions, but definitely we'll give you a chance once we finish. We have maybe another couple of questions from, so let's Jayant, do you have any, or let's go for another one. Yeah, we
Yeah,
have time.
absolutely. I would like to just comment that Ritesh ji very nicely put together the different dimensions to the situation with
Mhm.
respect to the visa, green card, and all that stuff. It's difficult situation for a lot of people, and it is unprecedented situation for the whole world, anyways.
Mhm.
But the way you have summarized and how different things have to come together is very good. Thank you for that. Quickly going for a summary of what are the top three things on top of your priority list.
Like,
Top three things on your priority list.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, um, let me add one more quick thing to the previous one. I want to say that 600,000 families who are waiting for the green card, it didn't happen overnight. Its
Hmm.
previous government didn't do anything, and
Yes.
this is where my fight comes in. Thank you. And very good question. So for the top three things in my priority list is, I would like to create better tax rule for our hardworking startup. I want to encourage the newer technologies to create the next economic boom. And the hardworking people of the Silicon Valley, I want them to take little extra pay because the things are quite expensive here. Second thing on my priority is, I like to increase the federal funding for traffic congestion what we are having in the valley. Now, thanks to Corona, those disappeared, but still, once it's gone, again, we'll back to the square one. And also to help our homelessness people.
Hmm.
Out of top five cities of homelessness in the United States, four of them are right here in the California, and we pay the highest taxes. Even after paying the highest taxes, we have the poor performing schools, homelessness, and on top, our California government, they have $54 billion budget deficit. I don't understand why people continue to go on that direction and bringing the same government back. Also, another thing is, I want to improve the California K to 12 education system and no race-based admission. And one thing which I want to do is a very strong relationship with India and all developing countries on the multiple fronts, including technology, trade, as well as the manufacturing. Because manufacturing, we really need to grow more back in the United States and finish our dependency on externals. Yeah.
So very happy to see you. You covered three dimensions, if I summarize it in that way. Business, which is must have for society, a boom for business for society. Education, that's a foundation for everything in the world. And lastly, the responsibility that we as human beings have towards homeless people. So I'm very happy that you covered three different dimensions to the whole question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So any room for a any solution for this economical the difficulty that what we are going through, connected to all three, that maybe what are your plans for that one?
So for the COVID thing, actually, what we are running into, yeah. So my plan is very clear. We need to do large scale testing of the people, very large scale, and the people, those who are going to the entering the companies, they need to be tested. We need to expedite
Mhm.
the vaccine, and we need to ensure that we come up. And I see that President Trump is doing good job in expediting.
Right.
We need to ensure that the schools remain right now is closed. I don't support opening of schools because these children's, even though like even though the impact rate on the children is low, but low because they are at home. I want children as well as the elders to stay home. The adults, those who go to work, measure the social distancing measure and wear the mask. It's very important.
Excellent, excellent. So I think we probably can add a few more questions. So I think let's go with the Sunilji this time also. Like I'm going to give you another chance to just go ahead and if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Anuji. One more question, Riteshji. Uh, you get elected, and I want to know what is your vision for the future for this great democratic nation, which is America, during your tenure and beyond.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I think this is very good question.
It's $1 million.
So my plan is for the US to be ready for the next century, and in fact lead the world through innovation as well as economic excellence. What we have to do actually right now is, and you have seen this thing in Austin also, we need to protect our innovation. Today, whatever the research we are doing, like for example, COVID-19, the research, there are the nations, those who are behind us to steal those things. So we have to protect our innovation. Second, we also need to train our people well and promote an early involvement of the school, colleges, and everything with the industry, because we are missing right now that part. We also need to bring the sanity in our immigration system, because today when I see Joe Biden and Democrats, they plan to give 11 million undocumented aliens the path to citizenship. Once you do that 11 million, 22 million will be standing next again. How long you will continue to do that? So everything need to be the legal base, and the people who are suffering, we need to cover them, especially H1Bs and other people. Also, I like to unite this country, not divide what my opponent is doing with the Prop 16 bill. I like everyone need to work based on merit and inherent skill. Nobody should be discriminated based on the color of the skin. And this is how we can continue to grow, continue to innovate, continue to motivate our children, continue to work hard, and continue to remain leader in the North America.
Thank you.
Excellent. So yeah, go ahead, Bhupinderji. You have connecting questions, I believe.
It's kind of sort of connecting, and which is very dear to the hearts of at least for the people of India.
Okay.
Is I mean, how do you feel that do you feel that the current administration should be demanding more of Pakistan to dismantle their terror infrastructure? For the amount of military and the other aid that they receive from this country, are they doing enough are we doing enough to ask Pakistan to at least finally give up with their flirting with the terrorism as a state policy? Do you feel that we should be taking a more stronger stand? That's what I wanted to say.
So thank you so much. First of all, my opponent Rokhanna, he joined the Pakistan caucus.
Right.
And after joining the Pakistan caucus, the situation has become even more worse. Today, when we look into minorities, which include Christians, Hindus, Sikh, every day I hear one or other incident where they are tortured, raped, or they are converted into Islam.
Right.
Parents, they are afraid that once their daughter is 13-year-old, she will be abducted. And minorities, which were 8% during Pakistan independence, today they are left with only 1.5% to 2%. So where those 6% people disappeared? And at the same time, look at the India. We were 8%, they grew to 16 to 17%. We need to ask a lot more to this Pakistan. We need to dismantle all the terrorist organizations. And what we have to do is go after and punish the countries who are harvesting all these terrorist organizations and working to kill innocent people. I can never forget 9/11, which is the masterminded by Pakistani Mohammad Khalid Sheikh. And on top of this, Osama bin Laden. I can tell you, I was very sad to see last week that Imran Khan, who is the Prime Minister of Pakistan, he declared Bin Laden as a martyr who killed 5,000 American people right here in the North America. I don't understand what we are trying to do. So, in fact, we need to work a lot more. We need to fight because Pakistan is quietly supporting Taliban as well, who is fighting with our soldiers. We Indians cannot forget the terrorist attack on Bombay Indian Parliament as well as the Kashmir. Pakistan, they continue to kill Hindus and Sikh minorities on their territories, and nothing has been done by the world. As well as my opponent, despite responding him multiple times, that what you do in Pakistan caucus, what is your role? Share with us the meeting minutes, what you have done. In fact, they remain so quiet that not a single word comes out for the minorities. But when in Kashmir there is no internet, all these Congress people stand up and start speaking that India is torturing the people. Where were these people when 450,000 Kashmiris were either killed or removed from the Kashmir? No one has spoken the single word. This is the reason actually I want to tell you that Pakistan, they need to stop the proxy war. They need to work towards the positive side, and they need to let the people live their life instead of torturing and making things happen. Because I'm going to introduce the bills which will not only Pakistan but any country who will torture their citizens as well as forcibly convert them into their religion belief, they will all be sorry about it.
Yeah, that is really a great change, that if that one can happen, then we'll all be grateful for that. So anyone have any comments before we move on? Please do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would like to add, it
sure.
has been very sad to
Mhm.
see, as Ritesh pointed out, there have been so many incidences of young girls, very young girls, I mean, younger than my daughter. It breaks my heart to see that being abducted. And really, after that kidnapping, the forceful conversion happens. And after that, all it is a charade that, hey, it was nothing but just a choice, a love marriage, and so on and so forth. Nothing has been done. And media doesn't have guts to talk about it. Politicians don't have guts to talk about it because they are catering to the vote banks, they're catering to a caucus, certain sources of their income.
Right.
Something has to be done. If we have guts, if we have courage, which is what this nation is built on, then we should be bringing up these kind of issues. We should be facing those questions. We should be facing Pakistani caucus. We should be facing asking the questions to what are you doing in those caucuses? What are the questions? What are the discussions? Somebody kind of mentioned that the jihadi culture is also infiltrating kids' cartoons, etc. It's very amazing to see how these things are slowly creeping up. It's like cancer, it's like termite. And somebody has to break it, somebody has to operate upon it. So, Riteshji, your strong stand and very vocal support to the plights of Kashmiri Hindus, able to say very clearly what Pakistan did was wrong, is very heartening. That kind of courage, that kind of support is must have. And we should all, not just because we are Indians, not just because we are from a certain diaspora, it's a human question. It's a human right question.
Mm-hmm.
And if we talk about US being the best nation in the world, then it
Right.
also has the responsibility to bring up those human rights questions.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, my opponent, Rokhana, he became the Pakistan caucus member, and now he's a puppet, and people they are using him. He has no guts to speak up when this thing happened, and he has all the guts to speak up when the people don't have internet in the Kashmir.
Yes.
So that's very unfortunate, and
That is really unfortunate
yeah.
for a person who was elected by the active community support
Right.
of India and Indians, and he turned against us and by joining Pakistan caucus. Um, I don't know. I don't have words to describe that.
This radical Islam is creating problem everywhere. You see in UK, how many Muslims are there, and they are trying to, I mean, those radicals, when I say Muslim, those are the radicals. And the situation is pathetic in Pakistan, what they have done to our Hindus and Sikhs. And I would like to say there is only one organization I have seen who is doing some little bit for those people, and that is Seva International.
Yes.
I have really all praise for that organization. They do little bit whatever they can. From here, they send money unofficially, and they are helping. So we need to. Our government has to really take some stand on this. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, thank you. And I think we may have like one more question. Go ahead. If you, I know that you're actually wanted to ask that one. Yeah, I'll give you last one. Go ahead.
So this is actually changing topic literally here, and some a bit of a personal question, but I think it's good for us to know you better. So how does your professional background and experience, your own culture, your own upbringing, helps you with your future to be a congressman, and how will it be able to serve the community better?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking this question. First of all, if you look into myself, 22 years I work for community. I am not a politician. The whole reason I jumped in this race because I like to work for community, like to work for people, like to see how I can be helpful to them in solving the problem of people. Instead of working today's politician, they are working for their own personal interests. I have a passion to help community. This is where 22 years without any single pay, I'm working beside my regular technology job as well as while doing the studies. With the technology, I understand the Silicon Valley much better, and I will help in framing fair and good policies so that the people in the Bay Area will live with economic prosperity and the mutual peace. Also, with my business skills and the strong negotiation skills, what I have acquired during the non-profit, I will make California government to spend the money of the people very wisely. Today, $54 billion uh, budget deficit we have, and these people, they spend the money like crazy. Also, my opponent, he has done the something which is opposite work, like he favors a costly socialist solution to problem that can be solved with a good common sense and rational thought. So in fact I want to work and think out of the box and bring all my technology, business skills, non-profit skills for execution and getting the things done that will help to change the life of the people, because this is where my whole goal is: change the lives of people here, change the life of the people outside the United States, those who are suffering, and help the community whatever way I can.
So
Thank you for summarizing it well, because certainly outsiders, so to speak, because you are not a career politician, definitely have different perspective. You are closer to common people like ourselves,
right.
and that, like you mentioned, your professional experience and all would be very helpful. So I think you answered that question very well, and it helps us understand you more and your value. Thank you.
Being said that, like I'm going to just like extend that question. So with the COVID and then with all these things going on, so what is our president's chance to get re-elected? So any predictions?
So I can say first of all few things.
Mhm.
President Trump, he did the right thing in January by stopping the travel from China. That's what he did it right way.
Mm.
But then actually, and then he stopped it from the Europe as well, and he got bashed from the Democrats, and they call him the xenophobic. But then couple of things what we might have done better, where CDC, then Mr. Fossey,
Mhm.
everybody should have enforced the rule of wearing the mask in time. That part did not happen.
Right.
Today, President Trump, he is working very hard to with all the companies to take out the vaccine, and also help the community, fund the people with the PPP program companies, fund the companies with PPP program, fund individual with extra $600 per week pay. He's doing a lot more thing. But I can tell you, that governors of United States, they are following their own path. If we have started screening all the incoming people, quarantining them, tracing them in much earlier in January, we might not be in this bad state today. But my feeling is things are going to go worse for some more time, and I'm hoping as the vaccine comes out, it will recover. So definitely, a blame will fall on the administration, and and there will be some impact of votes on the President Trump. But at the same time, people, they do understand that state governors, they are making their own decision, and they are running the show and operating independently, and they are deciding. They are only asking President Trump what they need, what he's already giving them. So, so I hope that people are knowledgeable to make the right decision when they
Absolutely.
go in November voting.
Can
Absolutely.
I add to that, Anuji, quickly?
Go
There are
ahead.
two important points. And
Mhm.
that question has been asked by my veteran friends also back home in India as to why the difference in responses between two administrations are very, very starkly different. One thing that I can see is the beauty and the beast of American democratic system. What I mean by that is this. The beauty is everybody has a freedom. Every county, every mayor, every city has freedom to choose how they want to operate. That's the beautiful part. And the beast part is exactly the same. Because even if President Trump had issued a specific directive, it cannot be enforced, as you kind of touched upon. Every governor is making their decision, and so is every mayor. So I think it's kind of unfair without understanding the differences or challenges. The way the whole structure works and democratic system works in this country, there are limitations of what president can do. I'm not trying to favor him. I'm just trying to be very open and honest about it. The second thing is WHO's role in it, right? It's a very dubious role that they played when, by the time they flagged that there's really a pandemic, it was way too late. And there are already questions about Chinese president's wife's involvement with WHO. But I'm not going to dwell on that. But I just want people to go and do their own research on it and understand what else is happening behind the scene, because WHO definitely was late in making it a pandemic declaration.
Right.
Exactly.
Just wanted to add to that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. And
Thank
I
you.
just want to add on the same angle, like since you have talked about independent government and independent mayors and city council making their own decision, this is where actually I was very surprised since we're talking about Kashmir also earlier. In Minnesota City Council, Democrats, they have made a decision to impose on India for NRC and CAA. Same thing now Chicago is doing. So everybody works independently and they do whatever they want to do.
If I can add a quick comment on that, Anuji, I'm sorry, but I have to make this comment.
Go for it.
So I made personal phone calls to the Seattle. I'm not going to say the name of the lady, but the lady who supported this one. And I called their office and I started talking to the person who answered the call. And I said, can you tell me why you supported or why you brought up this resolution? And they started like telling me the same thing that, hey, you are Islamophobic, you are this phobic, that phobic. And I said, do you even know the history of what happened? And of course, the person had no clue. Then I said, have you actually read CAA? Have you actually read it verbatim? And I was ready for him to say something because I had copy on me, I had read myself, and I had my homework. He was forced to admit that he had not read it. So I said, then what gives you or your council lady right to vote her like that? And she said, or he said, well, we consulted with the community leaders. So I said, which community leaders you consulted with? And you have the answer. I mean, I don't have to say the answer, but obviously.
Yeah.
So so
Yeah.
that's the challenge sometimes. People don't even know the stuff and they start saying, hey, you're Islamophobic, which is not the case. People
Right.
have to know the history.
Yeah, it makes sense absolutely because even I mean I've seen like it's funny, but many of them don't even know the long form of what CA stands
No.
for. And then also they asked and they actually, they let alone read the cause or whatever that it says, and then just that letters meaning bad is what actually is put the crown on and just move on with that. So that's really bad. uh,
See, if I can add a real quick point to
sure,
that,
sure. Yeah.
the internet has really made a world lot more democratic. You know, everybody who has an opinion is an expert now on anything that they
Mhm.
want to be an expert on. So most people, they don't have a clue. They don't want to know. They don't want to do the hard work. They don't want to do the background, their homework, but they want to comment, and they
Right.
want to comment based on what they believe it is. And if whether it is true or not true or relevant, not relevant, that's immaterial.
Completely different.
And I
That.
will add one comment into this part because this is why I convert from independent to Republican. My look into the Joe Biden, look into Ro Khanna, look into the Bernie Sanders. All of them spoke against India, against NRC, against CAA, and they have no clue what is going on, and they keep on giving statement. And I don't know whether they have the pressure from the other side or what it is, but they became so much puppet that now Joe Biden recently gave one of the comment that he want to have more Islamic book in our schools, but they have never fixed our Hindi books, which is there. So I have no oppose for anything, but they should do some work and see how our committees are suffering just with the Hindi books and all those things. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Tandon, I think probably, we really had, like, I'm going to give you a chance now to convince us, why people should vote for you, and then also, give your insight of, what your thoughts are, so that, people can hear you before they make the decision.
Yeah, thank you so much, first of all, Anuji, and thank you, Bhupenji, Jayantji, Sunilji, as well as Krishnaji for and Asia News for giving me this opportunity to come and speak here. I just want to tell you that 22 years I work for non-profit without any self-interest. 22 years in the technology field with and as well as I know the Silicon Valley. I understand the multiple cultures. I understand the people. The whole reason I'm standing in this election is how I can help the people, how I can solve their problem, how I can give you couple of hours extra with the removing the traffic congestion so that you can spend the time with their family. How we can build the next generation of Silicon Valley, how we can build the Silicon Valley, in fact, smart cities, bring manufacturing right here. I I'm not raising the money from the special interest group. I have raised less than 100K, I can tell you, versus my opponent who is funded by the special interest group. He managed to raise 3 million. I can tell you votes we can get from the people. We are not going to buy the vote. My only message is look into my policies, look into who I am. Don't go with the party line. See who can do best for you, best for the community, and vote there. Because this vote will decide where the race-based decision, people like Prop 16 and all those guys, those who are coming in, they will rule you, or you want your freedom. Because they are coming up with another bill where they want to have one Latino or African American or Native American board member in the all the Silicon Valley companies. So this is coming. It's not very far. So help me, vote for me, and let's work for everyone, and let's work for American dream right here in the America. Thank you. And my website is the www.tandonforcongress.com. Once again, www.tandonforcongres.com, and help me, support me any way you can do by making the phone call for me, by making small contribution, by reaching out to your friends who are based in the Bay Area. We have to win this, and this is very important for our community, our people, all Americans right here in the Bay Area.
So.
and we cannot lose this. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. We are all together with you. And just like we have time for a couple of questions. And then I think that one question is from, I think, Mr. Gautam. Then he said, like, what I'm seeing nowadays is that politicians are offering everything free. How long do you think this can go on?
So to be frank, like they want to convert into socialist state. When we look into our Democrats, free education, free rent, free tuition, free food, free electricity, and the based on the color of the skin, you have the government job, everything. What they are trying to do is they are trying to control your mind. You will not be innovative. You will dependent on government, and they will give you like how in the olden days in India, you get the food with the ration card, then 1 kg, and this is exactly they are controlling, and they will make this country as a socialist state, completely socialist state, and I really want this as a not a third world country for our children. We need to work hard and push this back and push this Democrat back against all those things.
So the next question is, I'm not sure how comfortable you're, but I think I'm going to go ahead and ask you. So because I know this is a reality now that what we face in the current world with especially upcoming younger generation. So do you support the same-sex marriage is what the question is.
Support what? Sorry?
Same-sex marriage.
I can only tell you one thing. Everyone is a human being. Everyone is knowledgeable. And if they want to, human being wants to make their own decision, I have no problem. I have no right to interfere to control anybody's life, how they want to live their life.
Okay. So I think it was a great discussion, and thank you so much for giving all of your information and also wisdom sharing with us like what's going on. And so anyone have a closing remarks that this is time, like we have just to keep it short, like for about a minute. So go ahead. Let's start with yes, Jayant, go ahead.
So I believe in the saying that those who have guts get all the glory.
Absolutely.
And you have shown the guts to be able to support the right causes, especially for humanity, for the people who are downtrodden. You talked about homeless people. You talked about people who are in Pakistan, nations like Pakistan, whether they're Christians, Hindus, or Sikhs, or other minorities. They have been targeted, and you, for a change, have shown guts, sir, to talk about that. You also talked about what role China had played and how you want to make things in America. That takes guts as well. So thank you for that. That guts should get you the glory.
Thank you.
Let's hear from Mr. Agarwal.
Yeah, Mr. Ritesh, I would say you are very confident and we are convinced. That's it.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, let's hear from Bhupinder ji.
Well, I want to thank you, Ritesh, for standing up and as Jayant sang for having the guts. And I wish I could do this, but I did not have the guts to do it. But I'm really happy and I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us tonight. And I wish you all the best. I mean, is there anything else that we can do to support you apart from what you just said? And we are doing all of that. If there is anything else, we'll be more than happy to make sure that we see you in the United States Congress this fall.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
We are looking forward to that one, and we would like to wish you all the best. And then, we are with you for all the support that we can give you. And so maybe we can come back and just do more if possible before November 3rd. And so thank you so much for everyone who actually joined us and watched us. And time constraint that I'm sorry that I cannot take more questions, but definitely will come back. And please go ahead and forward your questions to Mr. Ritesh and to his email, that you will be definitely answered the best way he can. So, and let's join again one more time in the future. But till then, all the best. And this is your host Anu from Asia News. Keep watching, and we'll be bringing more news as we go. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Namaskar.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. It was very nicely done. Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. बहुत अच्छा रहा.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Those
nice meeting
thoughts.
you. Jayant ji. Yeah.
Sure. No, those clarities and those kind of clear standing was must have. Thank you for that.
ये
Absolutely.
बहुत बहुत लेफ्ट चला गया है अभी, so इस टाइम आ गया है. अगर if we don't send now, it will be too late हो जाएगा.